stop. Whatever you are about to do next, let it wait for 90 seconds, because the fact that this reached you right now, at this exact hour, out of the thousands of things that could have filled this moment instead, is not random. You are not killing time. You are being found. Welcome to Oculus of the Wise. Here is what I need you to know before we begin. By the end of this, you are going to understand exactly why certain people in your life have started to feel something they cannot explain when they look at you. They will not have a word for it, but you will. So stay with me all the way to the end, because most people drift away before they reach it. They always do. The ones who are truly meant to hear this are the ones who stay. Something tells me you already know which one you are. Before we go deeper, tap the like button and subscribe to this channel. Not because a stranger asked you to, because the wise never wander far from the source that feeds them. When you subscribe, you are not following a channel. You are making a quiet decision to stop sleepwalking through your own life. Let that be the first thing you do with your eyes open. Now listen closely. This part is meant for you alone. Something has shifted in you. You cannot name it yet, but you feel it. The way you used to flinch, the way you used to shrink when a room got heavy, the way one cold message could steal an entire week from you, that grip is loosening. It is leaving you the way a fever finally breaks. In the middle of the night, quietly, while no one is watching. And here is the truth the people around you are not ready to hear. You did not get here by being handed an answer. You got here because life put you under a pressure that comfortable people will never understand. While they were memorizing what they were told, you were learning what is actually real. There is a difference between those two kinds of people, and that difference is the difference between everything. So let me show you what you have already become, even if no one has ever said it to your face. 1. You stopped asking who is right and started asking what actually works. There was a moment, so quiet you almost missed it, when confidence stopped impressing you. You watched people who sounded brilliant collapse. The second real life pushed back. You watched smooth talkers run out of road. And something in you decided calmly that from then on you would trust results over volume. The world trains people to defend their opinions. You taught yourself to study outcomes. That is rarer than you have ever been told. If that just landed somewhere in your chest, go to the comments and type the word awakened. I read them, but more than that, the next person who finds this video reads them too, and your one word might reach a stranger at the exact hour they were about to quit. That is not small. That is how the eye opens in someone else. 2. You realize that survival rewired you. Most people assume the way they see the world is just the normal way to see it. They have never been tested, so they have never been forced into clarity. You have. There were nights you carried a weight you could not hand to a single person around you. It followed you into your sleep, and while it hurt, it did something to your mind that comfort can never do. It burned off the illusions. Now you read a person in seconds. You feel a manipulation before the sentence even finishes. That was not punishment. That was the forge. The pain was not breaking you. It was building the instrument you are using right now. 3. You stopped confusing being smart with being obedient. For most people, intelligence means following instructions and repeating the approved answer. Schools reward it, bosses reward it. It is easy to manage, but you learned the difference. Real intelligence is not memory, it is discernment. It is asking the question everyone else is too afraid to ask, and then testing the answer instead of just believing it. The day you took your mind back, the people around you felt it, even if they could not say why, and nothing unsettles a controlled room faster than one person who can no longer be predicted. 4. You started watching consequences instead of words. Everyone else listens to speeches and promises. You started watching what actually happens. Who gets punished? Who gets protected? Who breaks every rule and walks away untouched? You understood that a system tells the truth through its punishments, never through its announcements. Words get spun. Consequences are honest. And once you could read them, the world stopped looking fair and started looking like what it really is. A web of incentives and quiet boundaries that most people never notice they are living inside. 5. And this was the hardest one. You stopped letting other people use right and wrong as a leash around your neck. You noticed the pattern almost no one is allowed to say out loud. The ones who shouted the loudest about morality were so often the ones with the most to hide. The rules they enforced the hardest were rarely about protecting anyone. They were about keeping you exactly where they wanted you. You did not become reckless. You became clear. You started measuring your choices by what they actually do, not by who would clap for them. They will call that arrogance. It is not arrogance. It is a person who finally refused to hand their conscience to a committee. 6. You learned that the confusion around you was often built on purpose. Most people believe life is complicated because reality itself is complicated. But you started to notice how much of that fog was manufactured. The endless rules, the jargon, the contradictory instructions that serve no purpose except to keep you off balance and dependent. Systems do not thrive on clarity, they thrive on noise. And the moment you learned to separate a real problem from a maze somebody built on purpose, you stopped being exhausted by it, and you started cutting straight through it. That is the skill they hoped you would never develop. Now stop and notice something. You are still here. Most people are already gone. That alone tells you which side of the line you stand on, because clarity always feels personal, and the truth has a way of finding the exact person who was finally ready for it. And while you sit with that, take 1 second to tap like again, if the algorithm has not already pulled you away from this. Every tap pushes this voice one row further into the feed of someone who is searching for it tonight and does not even know the words to type. Before we go further, there is something you need to know. There is someone out there, right now, who is exactly where you used to be. They are in the middle of the season you just walked out of. The weight you are finally setting down is still their entire day, and no one has told them yet that their season can end too. They are awake at this same hour, asking the same questions you once asked into an empty room. You know that feeling because you lived it. So here is where you get to decide what kind of person the fire made you. The link in the description and the pinned comment is how this voice keeps reaching people like that. What passes through that link does not really go to a channel. It travels toward that person, in the voice they need, at the hour nothing else is reaching them. If a message ever arrived, right on time and carried you through, you already know what that is worth. Whether it is a coffee, a small contribution, or simply becoming part of this community, you get to be the reason a stranger hears their season ending, not out of pressure, out of memory. Because you remember being the one still drowning, and now you are not. Now let me tell you what changes from this moment on. You will notice that what used to set you off no longer has the same power. The comment that would have ruined your week now barely lands. The person who used to drain you suddenly looks smaller than they ever really were. This is not because life got easy. It is because you got rewired. What you once called your weakness has been forged into a steadiness you now carry everywhere you go. You are not the person who used to feel buried by all of this, and that is exactly why you cannot go back to it. The version of you that suffered there has finished its work. You are being called into a new identity, and that identity does not belong to your past. You will also start seeing doors you could not see before. They were always there. You just could not spot them while you were still holding the roof up with both hands. Now that the fight is ending, the path is widening. You will move with purpose instead of pressure, and you will recognize what is meant for you because it will arrive with peace instead of chaos. But hear me on this, because it matters more than anything else I have said tonight. Do not turn back. The old fear will knock again. It will try to convince you the pain is returning. Recognize it for what it is, an echo, not a reality, the residue of what was, not a warning of what is coming. You are not required to answer it the way you used to. You crossed a line most people never even see. To go back now would not simply be a mistake, it would be a betrayal of the entire reason you were put through all of it. You did not survive that to hand your mind back to the people who never tested theirs. You were sharpened for something. Walk away now, and you walk away from the very person the fire built. That is the one loss you would never fully recover from. And here is the answer to what I promised you at the very beginning. That feeling certain people get when they look at you now, the one they cannot put into words. This is what it is. They are sensing a person they can no longer manage, no longer predict, and no longer put back to sleep. That is not arrogance they feel coming off of you. It is your clarity, and quiet clarity has always unsettled the people who built their power on the fact that no one around them was paying attention. Now someone is. Now you are. So before you go, do the 3 things that keep this eye open. Subscribe if you have not already, so the next revelation finds you instead of passing you by. Tap like. So, this reaches one more person standing exactly where you once stood, and in the comments, type the 2 words "I see," and let it stand as a marker of the day you stopped sleepwalking. Then, send this to the one person you already pictured while you were listening. You know who they are. They were meant to hear this through you. You were not chosen because you were comfortable. You were chosen because you were forged, and the forged do not crawl back into the fire that shaped them. They become the light that helps the next person find their way out of it. This is Oculus of the wise. Keep your eyes open. The world looks different from here.